So I saw the first episode of Kamen Rider ReVice. After the final episode of Kamen Rider Saver, we can actually see of a new rider, which the theme is actually animals, stamps, which is a new collectible gimmick, and demons. So we're going to see the rider for the first time because we now actually get two riders as the main rider as well. So here's the first episode of Kamen Rider ReVice, which the premiere actually begins in 1971, which of course that's actually how Kamen Rider actually begins, in which they've actually have discovered the vase stamps, which is actually a mystical artifact, which of course they actually use it to actually turn into demons, which they now call dead men, in which the organization Dead Men's have actually used their abilities to worship demons, in which we knew that they actually have all of the demons on board, which of course the Dead Men's are actually the ones who use their powers to turn them into demons, in which the Dead Men's, which the organization that fight against them, Flex, which is actually a military organization, which the two members, George and Yujiru, who actually saw the history of the Vice stamps, and they decided to create Vice stamps of their own, as well as a new driver for a new Kamen Rider, in which we knew that they had picked a perfect candidate for the Riders' initiatives, and which happens to be Daiji Igarashi, and which we seen that the real rider, Iki Igarashi, is actually working at the family bathhouse, where they actually knew that they actually won a very successful bathhouse, until he actually have a demon of his own, which a demon named Vice, who's kind of like a mischievous demon, in which we actually knew that Daiji is actually working with Flex, in which his family is actually happy that he actually getting married, which actually became a new rider. In other words, we actually see how his brother is good at everything and he actually isn't. So he tried to make a name for himself, which we see at Dead Men's. They actually using a ReVice on a convicted villains, which the Dead Men's, which are the three main villains, are Igura, Otika, and Jose, actually using a vice, using the convicted felon, who using a new dead man named the Mammoth Dead Man, in which the Rider Initiative is now begin, which the Mammoth Dead Man actually appears, and they're using their henchman, the Griff Jr., to actually disperse the crowd, until we see Yujiru using the Vice driver and the ReVice driver and the Vase stamp to use to become a Kamen Rider. But it doesn't actually work that way, as he created a new Deadman called the Rex Deadman, in which he actually causing it to go on a rampage until Iki decided to fight. However, when we seen his brother about to use the driver, he actually became panicked, as we knew that he actually getting ready to freak out. But we knew that Vice told him to use the driver, which George instructed him how to use it, which he used it on himself which stamped the ReVice on himself to make a contract with Vice. And with that, he had transformed him into a Kamen Rider named Kamen Rider ReV and Vice, well, Kamen Rider ReVice. Hence the name Kamen Rider ReVice, as they battle the two Deadmans as they use their abilities to actually battle together, in which they've actually knew that with both of them together, they actually defeated the two Deadmans together, in which we knew that George is going to instruct them how to fight together as two main Kamen Riders. I'm actually happy that this is actually the beginning of the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider, ever since Kamen Rider Saber had actually aired its final episode. We actually see how this new writer, Kamen Rider ReVice, is a start of the third ReVice series as the 50th anniversary. So we see the new collectible gimmick, the ReVice, the V-stamps, and the new writer Iki as Kamen Rider ReV. So we're going to see more of him on the next episode next weekend. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment what you think about the first episode. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and my Facebook page and Twitch. Until then, this is Anime Guy Duran here saying signing out. Laters, and be safe.